What's up guys, welcome back to another video. So last year I created a short about the Artisan Type 99 and majority of the comments there were asking me what my top 5 recommendations are for a mousepad. So a lot of them are asking about like is the Type 99 good? Is the FX0 good? Is the QCK Heavy good? So I'm here to tell you what my 5 favorite mousepads are for FPS shooting or shooting games in general. But before that, let me talk about what's the mouse I use and my current Windows settings. So I currently use the Razer Viper V3 Pro. I use this mouse because it's ultra lightweight and I feel like it has the best shape for my hand. And I just really enjoy using this Viper V3 Pro, and it's probably the most consistent mouse I've used throughout. I also use Windows 11. So in Windows 11, enhanced pointer precision is defaulted to on. When I game, this is actually also on because when I turn it off, I notice that it skips pixels. But you'll notice in modern games like Valorant and CS2, it doesn't really matter if this is on or not because the settings in Valorant and CS overrides these. So you still get one-to-one movement on your mouse. So it could be placebo or not. But from what I noticed is when I have these on, the mouse movement is a lot smoother. So I just elect to keep this on. So with that said, you know my mouse that I use and you know my Windows 11 settings. So let's get on with the 5 best recommendations I have for gaming mousepads. All right, so number 5 on this list will be the OG mousepad that honestly got me through all of my FPS gaming when I was younger. The only problem with this mousepad is it wears out a lot faster, and when it starts wearing out, it's very inconsistent. And this is no other than the SteelSeries QCK Heavy mousepad. The reason I love this mousepad is because it has the best balance of speed and slowness. So it's slow enough that it's not muddy and it's very easy to control. So this is probably like the best control pad out there. And I just love that it's so thick. It's really comfy. However, like I said, once it wears out, it's not the same as buying it brand new. So that's why we're rating this mousepad at number 5. However, if you are able to replace mousepads often, this is one of the best mousepads out there, but I believe it's just a waste of money if you have to replace them every like 6 months. Number 4. So number 4 for me would be the GSR SE. If I'm having a bad day playing Valorant, I can always count on this mousepad to give me the best aim ever. It's a slow pad, it's a lot slower than the QCK, but it's still not in that muddy level. It's still very easy to aim on this mousepad. The newer versions are a lot better than the old ones. It absorbs moisture so much better so that when you're doing those long gaming sessions, it's not going to irritate your skin. And overall, this is just a really good solid pad. And the best part about this is you can literally buy these anywhere. If you just go on Amazon, these are readily available. Not like the other mousepads that I'm about to recommend from basically number 3, number 2, and number 1. Number 3 on this list is going to be the Saturn Pro. So the Saturn Pro I've tried for a long time, and before getting the next 2 mousepads, this has been my main. I have not tried the newest Saturn Pro. I think they have like the version 2, but the Saturn Pro, I know that line is amazing. It's a hybrid pad, so meaning it's not slow and it's also not crazy fast like a glass pad. However, it gives you the best balance of control. So depending on the game you play, this will be really good. If you have your aim down in Valorant and CS2 or CSGO, this is a very solid pad. But where these pads really shine is for games that has a lot of tracking, like let's say Fortnite, Battlefield, Marvel Rivals, just because it's a lot easier to track on this pad because it does glide very easily. So for number 3, the Lethal Gaming Gear Saturn Pro would be my recommendation. For number 2 and number 1, this is honestly going to be a toss-up because I honestly can't decide. Let's talk about the main game I play. The main game I play is Valorant, and sometimes I dabble around in CS2. So for number 2, I would say the Artisan Type 99. And when I'm talking about these mousepads, I would get these in the soft variant. I've tried the mid pad and the extra soft pad, and I feel like the soft is honestly the best because it doesn't get too muddy and it's just the right amount of texture. So the Artisan Type 99, if your main game is Counter-Strike and Valorant, this pad is so slow sometimes. It even gets to like the muddy level where like it's hard to make micro adjustments. However, if you do get used to this pad is basically a headshot magnet. Just because when you're trying to aim, it literally barely moves. So which is like a pro and a con, because when you're aiming on these mouse pads, it's really easy to hit headshots. And when you're moving your mouse, like it barely moves. It usually just hits your target, it hits the head. But the con on this mouse pad, it's so muddy. When you're using like the operator, it barely freaking moves. And so that's why I have this at number 2. And micro adjustments on this pad is so hard because of it barely moving. So that's the reason I have this pad at number 2. I've tried this also playing Battlefield, and the tracking is pretty decent. The only problem is you would have to raise your sensitivity a lot just because of how slow this pad is. But it is doable. It's just not my recommendation if you're looking for a pad with a lot of tracking. So if you're playing like Apex, Fortnite, this definitely isn't the pad for you. But if you're playing like Counter-Strike, Valorant, then this pad truly does shine. And so that leaves me with number 1. The number 1 pad, honestly, this one was a hard one because at first I really hated this pad. This pad was way too fast for me, and this is the Artisan FX0, and this one's the orange version, and I think there's a difference with the orange and black one. However, once you get used to this pad and you get your control down and your aim is not shaky anymore, then this pad becomes just an extension of yourself. It's so easy to micro adjust, it's so easy to track. And basically, this pad is a do-it-all pad. You could be playing Valorant, CS2, Fortnite. Basically, this pad can do tracking, and it also has a lot of stopping power. So, for my best pad recommendation out there, the Artisan FX0, you can never go wrong with this pad as long as you get used to this. So, that is my recommendations. And like I said, I use the Viper V3 Pro. Basically, any lightweight mouse would work with these. I just feel like the Viper V3 Pro really fits my hand. And yeah, that's it, guys. I hope this answers your questions about what my favorite mouse pads are. And thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions or comments, or if you want me to try a different pad, let me know. I'm willing to try it and do a video. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.